listening to 27 Talks Podcast. Step into the world of hair. We've got ideas and stories to share. Supporting salon culture and life. We'll provide the education. One talk at a time. You're listening to 27 Talks Podcast. With your host, Amber Pope. We'll tell you all you need to know. Let us be your inspiration. Won't you join us for the ride? One talk at a time.
This episode, Amber sits down with her good friend and beauty brand manager, Will Hulihan.
Hi, and welcome to 27 Talks. Today I have my good friend, Will Hulihan, with me. Will is a brand manager with Moroccan Oil. He's also my friend and a great person to lean on in this industry in all things salon business. Welcome. Thank you for sitting down and chatting with me today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Amber. It's always a pleasure whenever I get to see your face and actually talk to you about the amazing industry that we all work in.
It truly is amazing, and I value every conversation that you and I have had, past and present in our future, and I am so grateful to have you in our salon world, and you are a true asset to this industry. You absolutely are, and I'm excited to kind of pick your brain a little bit about this interesting time that we're living in right now, and we currently most salons are coming outside of shutdown and now really getting back to behind the chair and seeing guests in the salon. And the reason why I wanted to kind of explore this topic with you today is with the retail component of post-COVID. We sat at home for 2+ months just thinking about what reopen was going to look like and strategizing not only what behind the chair and all of those new standards of practice we were going to be working with, our protective equipment that we're going to be working with, how clients are going to need their roots handled. But we really were looking at a huge component of that retail and the retail aspect and what was it going to look like coming back into the salon. And I know I had a lot of fears about that as a salon owner. I had fears that ran deep. And you, my friend, have been in this business looking or in the salon, talking with salon owners during shutdown. And now that you're out there, what were some of the fears that you were hearing from salon owners and stylists like myself?
Well, absolutely, there was so much fear, especially in the beginning with COVID. We didn't understand, was it going to be, oh, you can't touch these products, everything had to be pre-ordered, or everything's got to be sanitized, wiped down, or, what was that landscape going to look like? Well, initially in the beginning, there was the curbside, you'd call in your products, you would, have everything prepaid for, so that when you came into the salon to get your service done, they would have these little bags or whatever, and everybody was staying very far away. I think what I've been seeing more so in this current time, from the fear to slowly reopening the door. Is retail a focus? Absolutely it is. It actually is very surprising to see the differences between what we thought was going to happen 2 months ago or even 3 months ago to what's actually happening right now. I'm seeing record-breaking numbers from all of my distributors. I'm seeing record-breaking numbers from even my salon partners who are all saying the same thing. We didn't think that we were going to be able to sell any retail, but the fact of the matter is people are coming in, and it's almost like, when you deprive people and they're hungry, and then you give them food, it's kind of that same kind of principle. People have been deprived of their hair products, their haircut, their hair color, everything that they, the world that they were used to doing on a routine every single 6 weeks or every month or every 2 months. And now they're finally having access. So it's been quite surprising to see how that turn of events has turned to a positive versus a negative.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Again, I myself had such concern, such worry about how are we going to block off retail from anyone even touching it. And as you mentioned, and just really that the touch point aspect of it was, I think, the scariest for me. And then also is it not going to be relevant anymore? But truly, when we reopened, so many of my clients were longing for, even during shutdown. So let me even back up. During shutdown, I had a lot of clients asking, what are some of the things that I can be doing here and now during shutdown? My hair's dry. I'm in dire need of, if there's ever a time for me to do a hair mask, now's the time, and things like that. And so there created a element of that self-care, self-love, self-attention, and really looking for extraordinary products that are outside of their bubble, even outside of what the norm was. Sure, yes, you
Right.
need great shampoo, absolutely. But, when you're really at home and kind of trying to think about the things that are more important, is like, yeah, I do want to have healthy hair. How do I do that now? So then that created in the clients that we saw, it created a little bit more of a demand for these things do matter. And if tomorrow things change and we are back at home again, you know what? I want to have good stuff so that it makes me feel better. It makes me love
Right.
my hair. And I think
Well,
there's
and that,
an emotional component of that.
absolutely, and it's interesting because I saw a lot of I saw a lot of salons and a lot of friends in the industry that started to do the curbside, like root touch-up kits, and your all over single process, and things that were very easy for people to do at home. Those were the inventive ways to kind of carry them through, because when we look at the big grand scheme of it all, retail and your products and your color is what is bringing in the money really into the salon. And as we've kind of transitioned through to reopening and coming back in the field, I mean, obviously, you guys reopened way before we did here in New York. So New York, we've only been open for just a little bit over a month, 5 weeks now, or 6 weeks now. And, in that time period, everybody was rushing in, and that mindset of like, I just got to make up all this money that I didn't have before. But then people also forgot that entire time, that 3-4 months that we were closed, people were also deprived of all their products, all those things to maintain their color, those things to maintain their healthy hair. They couldn't even get it, whether that's through the distributor or even sometimes through Amazon or however the distributor, is moving this product. So, for us with even Moroccan oil, we were like, it was challenging. These orders weren't getting sent out. So the new landscape, all of a sudden the salons open, everybody's rushing to get those products that they need. I received thousands, I felt like thousands of texts. It's probably only a few hundred, but I received so many text messages from friends, from clients, salon owners, from even distributors, like, how do we do this? What can we do? How can I get these products to these people? And it was always interesting. So I was like constantly doing these hair consultations, like, what's going on with your hair? What products are you looking for? And it was also a time where people had the time to learn about what they actually were doing with their hair. They were actually paying attention to the results, because when we're in this go lifestyle, we forget. We're just like, I just need something quick, fast, whatever, and I don't want to have to really think about it. Well, all of a sudden we were stuck. We were basically put on pause, and we had nothing but time to think about it and think about the reality of what is it that I'm doing to my hair? Maybe I should switch out this product. Maybe I should try these other things. I've always wanted to do this. I wanted to have colored hair, or, so many of my friends got very creative, and that's the beauty of what happened with this, this period that we had. But, moving into the surprise reality was when the doors opened, I'm telling you, I mean, the products were flying off the shelf. And, we all know in the industry that retail is where, your margins are, quite huge there. So you're getting a bigger return and a faster return, more so than you do just from like a hair cutting service or whatnot. So it was a pleasant surprise.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it really shocked me. It really shocked me. And I thought that I knew my business pretty well, but, unprecedented times, and you sometimes get unexpected results on both sides. But this was a happy positive that people really did begin to, I think, care more for themselves and really wanting those great products. What I
And yeah,
will say, yo, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say that on that point, people started to care more about themselves.
Mhm.
Before we would just kind of like, we'd run through the day, just like quickly do whatever, and we weren't paying attention. But now people had a reason to care about themselves. They wanted to take care of themselves, and taking care of yourself also means making sure that you look good, right? Taking care of how you look, how you feel. And that's what these products in our industry does. It's about transforming your everyday feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now you had mentioned, touching on a bit of like the convenience of things too. And I think something that really came out of this was people want convenience, right? They still want, yes, we want experience, but the need for convenience, such as like Amazon purchases and things like that, that can really be to your house within a matter of hours. And especially with COVID and shutdown and not wanting to be kind of out there in the public, really shopping, so to speak, unless you're making your hair appointment. So for those moments when you're like out of your favorite hairspray, going, dang, I don't have another appointment for about 3 more weeks. What am I going to do? Well, enter e-commerce to the salon space. And I know you guys at Moroccan Oil have a wonderful affiliate program. Other brands are doing so as well. And this really gives a solution to that issue of, it might be midnight and I just remembered that tomorrow I'm going to need X, Y, and Z. Let me go onto my salon's page, shop right there on their website, direct to them. And I want to applaud, you as a consultant and brand, managing of your brand, being able to offer programs like this. Well done, because it brings a lot of success and value to the business itself, from the client's perspective. So how have you been feeling about those e-commerce, new additions into the salon space?
Yeah, it's really interesting because Moroccan Oil has done so much to fight diversion. And part of the reason why, so many brands or so many companies out there have a lot of issues with, doing e-commerce is because of the diversion aspect of it. It's being sold out the back door. Well, one of the things that's really important with what we did is we started looking at the landscape. And from day one, when I left, as you know, Forrest, the salon software company, and went into back working with a manufacturer and with a brand again, e-commerce was part of the conversation that I kept saying, we really should start doing this because all the salons are starting to look at e-commerce as a viable, way. It's kind of when you look at like, print advertising versus, online advertising. Well, now the roles have been reversed. Like the budgets for print advertising are minuscule compared to what people are spending on online advertising. So if you're wanting to expand your reach, we were seeing those of our salons, we went from having 0. And during COVID, we allowed e-commerce so that people still had like this constant interchange of business coming into their salon. We were seeing about a 300 to 400% increase in their retail business due to having e-commerce added. We've partnered, we're working with, some of our distributors have partnerships already with Salon Interactive. If you've not learned about Salon Interactive, it's free for the salon to add this on. The products are already listed and you already have your store already designed. The salon will get credit. We'll get a commission. I think it's a 10 or 15% commission off anything that's being shipped directly from your distributor but it's being facilitated through your salon. So it makes it a lot easier for you guys to, one, you're still getting paid. It's going directly to your client. It's circumventing going to Amazon. And, it just makes a better experience. There's so many key resources when it comes to e-commerce out there. There's Shopify, which is a lot of work. I have several of my salons that actually brought this in during COVID and, immediately sold through all their products because it became so difficult to find, or get these products online and knowing like if on Amazon, like, am I getting the right stuff? Is this really going to be Kerastase, or is this really going to be Arnco or Orbe, or is this really, the Moroccan Oil we know is real because we have only 2 distributors that are allowed to sell us on Amazon. That's it, 2 distributors, and it's coming directly from us. So we know we have a lot more control of that. So, the e-commerce is really just opening up this entire new world for us, but we're also seeing that even, moving forward, we thought this was going to be a temporary thing. It is now, because we have 44 salons that have signed up to do e-commerce, it has now become a thing that we're going to do ongoing, which is amazing. So it took a pandemic to really kind of open our eyes to see that the the desire, the need is really there. And I think now, if you talk to Forrest or you talk to your salon software, these companies are also engaging and connecting with the manufacturers so that it's easier for you guys. The digital assets go to them, they can enter it into your system for you, and then from there they're building these APIs, as they call, which is basically, I can't even explain what that is, except for I can just say it's a way for an outside company and your software to speak to each other. And this way your inventory will stay up to date. There's a lot of things that have come out of this that have been very positive. I think it's been amazing to see the industry change and utilize technology more.
Absolutely. And really that integration between, the demand, the inventory on hand. Are you able to either have the consumer then purchase directly from you and have that shipped out through your salon, or is it a drop ship right from a link right to the consumer? So then myself as an owner doesn't even have to worry about that inventory. I mean, there's really two sides of that, but are both highly effective and really getting more of that outreach to the consumer and getting the product in hand, which is absolutely fabulous.
It's amazing. I mean, it gives you so much a bigger reach, and allows for that demand. Like you said, at midnight, like, oh, I forgot, like I can't go into the salon and I can't just pick it up anymore. So e-commerce allows you to, one, have it transferred from a sterile environment directly to your client in a safe space, dropped on their door. I mean, honestly, what could be better than that? So, like you said, whether you want to have it coming from you as the salon owner directly and you guys do your fulfillment, or you work with one of these partnering, distributors that have Salon Interactive or a company similar to that work directly with them. So it's amazing.
It really is amazing. And again, it's back to, gosh, this was the hardest thing that I think most salon businesses, and some, yes, we still have some that are still enduring this struggle right now of not being
Absolutely.
open. But on the other side of it, and I want to just shout out to all those that are still closed right now, there's hope on the other side, and stay the course. And, we've all got this. But within all of that, what could be a negative situation, and it is a negative situation, it's a very hard situation, but there's
absolutely
this pressure cooker of everything where there's good that is coming out on the other side of it. And I think that it's really going to drive and better the industry every step of the way on the other side of, what shutdown was and is for still some. But on the other hand, go ahead, Will.
I was going to say, just on that note, knowing, yes, the struggle is real for like salons that are in California that are, were open and now had to close again, getting back to, putting those kits together and going back to the curbside, people still need their products, and letting your clients know that you're still there for them. Those are all really important things. You got to keep your communication going, just because we're faced with challenges, we got to make sure we're constantly communicating through this, because we as a group, as an industry, we're always going to be there for each other and our peers. But, we can't also forget that our clients are there, that we need to support them as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And within the industry too, and that communication within each other, another big hurdle that we've had to get resourceful, creative, find new ingenious ways to work around that is really education, and education behind the chair, education that's pertinent to product knowledge and what we do for our consumer. Really, as an industry as a whole, we take this very seriously. We crave it on the daily, whether that's going to be watching, Instagram lives and these sort of things. But prior to even shutdown, I mean, this was a constant search that we're doing in salons, we're doing on location for education, or just doing it with, that device that's always attached to our hand. But but now that we're, in the world of COVID and working through the still needing to be safe, what are some of those effective ways that you're seeing education still living and breathing, even though we are in these hurdles right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. There's been so much creativity when it came to what is our game plan here. Many of the distributors, from Euphora to even Kevin Murphy, all of them are sending out these little news blasts, and like I said before, like, communicating to your client base is always going to be really important. So one thing that, we at Moroccan Oil have done, and I've seen with many others, specifically, I've seen, kind of carbon copied of this with Euphora and a couple other brands, but we've been doing a lot of virtual classes. So what we do is we actually have a virtual schedule that is sent out every Friday or every Thursday, perhaps, and then we send it out and show you what the next week's calendar looks like. So you're getting first class education, whether that's cutting, whether that's styling, whether that's even business summits that are going on. You're getting these first class talent that are putting these clips together that they do either on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, they do Zoom, summits. And it's been really impressive to see the amount of connection that people have had with this. When COVID first happened, we decided in May, we did our first education styling summit. And it was amazing. We had on every given, like about 200 to 400 people signed in constantly for all of these classes, whether we were talking about the new tools we were doing or we're talking with the PBA, and it's like, because at that time people were really like looking for this education. They want to know, what are we doing and how do we navigate and still continue to teach, because as you said this yourself, the industry was everybody behind the chair was looking for new creative ways to stay connected. We also have continued that trend. We have, a lot of the companies have stopped this online digital education, and we have continued every week. I send out digital assets to my team, to my distributors, to everybody to let them know we've got, some of the top talent that are coming together still and they're giving you an hour every week. So the new virtual classes have really transformed the way that we're doing business. It may not be the most ideal, if you have your wig head there and you're getting in there, you're trying to do it on, at home. It's a little bit more challenging than when you're in the salon. But at this point, I think knowing that people are still continuing to provide you with that source of information and news and creativity, it's pretty powerful. It's interesting to see how it's transformed and become a bigger thing than it was before.
I agree. I feel like we've had more education in the last 7 weeks and we're an education heavy salon. I mean, we have a monthly at least with the entire team, but I'm personally teaching twice a week. But in terms of scheduled classes, like we're typically once a month, we bring in something exciting to the table. I mean, we are closed as a salon, so we have Sunday, Monday, and we have had sometimes 2 things on a Monday. And it's like, okay, the next Sunday everyone's on, and then Monday we've got online cutting class where it's, one-on-one, and you've got the tripod out with the phone and the doll head, but it's working. And to give credit to you and the awesome company that you work for, Moroccan Oil gave us this amazing product knowledge workshop that, it was brand new to us. And so this is new products to our salon. We have young stylists, we have veteran stylists, and none of us really had a good understanding of what we were bringing into the salon. But yet this awesome virtual PK gives us the ability to learn something new. And then we can take all that information and then turn around and touch it, feel it, use it in the salon when we're there working safely. And so it's been pretty great to see these measures be successful. And again, like you said, it's not ideal, but truly nothing that we're in the middle of right now is ideal. I mean, if I could wave my magic wand, I would, but it's to make it work and make it work well and make it work successfully. And it's there. I mean, we've got the ingredients to do it.
Well, we think about too, like imagine 6 months ago, if you asked a stylist or a salon owner, do you know how to use Zoom? I guarantee probably maybe a handful, 5, maybe 10 have heard of Zoom, but nobody had ever used it before, right? So now you've got this new tool of technology. Not only are they battling to figure out how to use their salon software, let alone throw this on top of it, and then they got to figure out, how do I do Instagram Live? What's that thing on my phone and that app thing? There's so many resources and tools out there, and, trusting in people like you, or, coming to me or other people within the industry that do understand how to utilize these tools. It just like we can help each other. And honestly, I've watched so many of the PK classes, that were done virtually in the beginning. I've seen us perfect that trend and watch it grow. Now we're doing a national PK class, and I believe we're going to be doing this either every quarter. It's going to be quarterly. So whenever you have new staff, you have, anybody coming on board, that way you guys are continuing to get that support, rather than, always sending somebody in the salon. Because if depends on the culture, depends on where you're at. It may not be safe to have somebody doing something in salon. So, knowing that the virtual classes are there, knowing that we haven't stopped doing the education, knowing that there's a cutting class, on Monday. You can always join one of our classes. If you want to look at find out anything about this, look at MoroccanOilProfessionals.com. We have Moroccan Oil partners if you're a Moroccan Oil customer. We have Beautiful Business. So if you want the blog, you want to see more information about, what more can they do? What are the state guidelines? There's so many resources out there, not just with Moroccan Oil though. I mean, I've seen the same thing with Euphora. I've seen it with Lanza. I've seen it with Kerastase. I've got a lot of friends that work within this industry that we're giving so much back. And honestly, it's about time we kind of stepped it up. I think it's about time that, you have these resources, because we are in a place where the demand on our time is so much stronger and greater than it used to be because of technology. And therefore, having these resources, so you bring somebody in, say you have a new stylist that's just started, you're like, okay, great, I'm going to set you up with this virtual PK class, or I'm going to use these digital assets coming from the distributor, this whole learning portal that's being built. These are the things that people are starting to do, and I think it's very impressive to watch it all change.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, from a scheduling and salon owner side of things, pre-shutdown and pre-accessibility with all of these online methods, it's really hard to schedule out. And I always tease, it's like herding cats, trying to get all of your team to be on the same, okay, who can commit to this day, this time? And that's just because it's life, right? It's just hard to orchestrate, and you want to make sure that you're bringing good education and value to the table so that everyone is like, oh, I'm in, count me in for attendance, and that you get 100% attendance. I will say that I have personally seen that if I can't get 100% of attendance on that moment, because of these new platforms, because we can record, because I can send it back out to someone that was like, hey, I'm really sorry, not able to attend. Guess what? Now they have the link. They can get caught up, and they can get caught up in a really quick timeline, rather than having to wait until you schedule the next one and you've got a rep in salon or an educator in salon months from now. So
Right.
I think really giving the instantaneous of that immediate information, but then also immediately being able to get people caught back up. From a salon owner's perspective, I will say that that's been the best thing about the educational platform of what we're seeing now and today. So
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I mean, having the opportunity to record the conversation, that's something like when you have somebody in your salon teaching a class, like how many times are you sitting there with your phone trying to follow along, but then you're like, oh wait, I've got to go, and I get to put my hands, I get to get to work here too. So this is such an awesome way to continue to have that dialogue and always being able to share that information with your team. I do know that there are a lot of the distributors out there that are starting to create their own education portals where they're going to house this information. Just in case, as a case in point, more or less, I'm actually doing the same thing with my company. They've asked me to record a business course about websites, e-commerce, and then we're going to share that with their distributors as a part of the education platform for them. So you can have this information, you can watch and what are the steps to doing e-commerce? What are the steps in building a solid website? How do I effectively utilize my technology to make my salon work for me? So, I mean, I don't know how I became that expert. No, I'm just joking. Um,
I do. I do. I know how you did.
I love this industry so much, and I just think the constant evolution and watching how this all shapes and changes, and the embracing how everybody's embracing the Zoom calls, everybody's embracing their FaceTime, they're embracing this culture that everybody has been so resistant, especially us. I'm in my 40s, mid 40s. I mean, I came from before we had like mobile phones and before computers and before I remember the life when I had a rotary dial. Like, you know, it's such a different environment where we are today. And I think the more that we start to utilize these tools that are available to us, the better we're all going to be. I mean, it's just going to really maximize your efforts. You're going to have, you know, learning on demand. It's incredible.
Well, that's exactly why you are put in that position to bring that information to the table. That is precisely why, and well deserving. And I can't wait to get, you know, a sense of what you're going to bring to the table. It's going to be fantastic. And really, I have to say that you kind of nailed it. I think that rising to the occasion, right, within brands and like yourself, who is an integral part of the brand that you work for, you guys are all rising to that, elevating that standard, bringing more to the table. I know I'm doing that the best that I absolutely can within my own salon bubble, but having the resources through companies like yours and through people like you, it really does bring that next level of, we were good before, watch us be better. And it's
Yeah.
fantastic. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
you guys.
It's funny. I you know, living in New York, you know, we're like, New York's tough, New York's strong, New York, you know, and we always rebuild bigger. And I believe that, you know, the distributors, a lot of them have offices here in New York, and I believe that across the U.S., you know, we're so good at being inventive and creating new and better ideas and better ways to work more efficient. And in our industry, I mean, there's so many amazing people out there, Textel to, you know, all the platforms, not just Forest to, you know, there's Boulevard, there's all, everybody has their unique talent in what they're doing. I'm very blessed to have been in this industry for, a very long time. And I'm very happy that I've got to partner with you guys on multiple levels, you know, not just from, you know, where I am now, but also with Forest. And I know that you did a call with Forest, and I'm sure they talked about, you know, the new ingenuities that they're putting forth, like the e-commerce store and connection with them. I've even talked with them about that as well. So, you know, the best thing to do in this circumstance is talk to your reps, talk to your salon consultants, ask them about e-commerce, ask them about, you know, what do they suggest the best practices are, and do they partner with Salon Interactive? Are they utilizing these tools? Just ask the question. And then from there, then everything else will start to fall in place. It'll help you guys just in case we end up in a second wave, you know, or third wave or whatever. It will help to create that stable income that you're going to need while we go through and try to figure out what we're doing with the rest of our life, you know?
Absolutely. We'll just
So,
weather it all together at every
yeah,
turn, right? That's all we can do.
exactly,
Love it.
exactly.
I'm glad we got a chance to talk about these two big topics. I think that you know, we could both go on forever and ever about them, and it will
Totally.
always be evolving. Tomorrow we may have more strategies. I'm sure we will, and the day after that. But I think it's good to dive into these very relevant topics right now. But I also want to get a chance to dive into getting to know you a little bit more. So be it that you touched on New York. So I know that you're in the city, and of course you just mentioned how strong New York is, and New York is very strong. But I want to know, what is the best part about being in New York?
Wow. Wow. You know, I've lived in New York for 15 years and I live in Brooklyn. I think the greatest thing about the people here is even through the adversity and the challenges that we've all overcome from 9/11 all the way through. People band together. People are strong. They have this sense of community. I can walk down my street. Everybody's wearing masks. Everybody sticks together. We have a plan. We got our directive, and I think that's one of the most amazing things about New York is we know how to just hammer through things because we want to be open. We want to live our life, so we're doing what's needed. And I think that it's awesome here. Like that's my favorite thing about this place.
I love it. I love it. New York has such a part of my heart and soul. And every time I get a chance to talk to you, I'm always like, I just miss it so much. But I do. I miss it so much.
Anytime. You guys are always welcome to come. I'll show you. I'll take you everywhere. I'll take you through my neighborhood. And now I have a car I can drive you around all over too. So I'll show you places you've never seen.
I'm going to take you up on it. I am. So prior to New York, will you tell me about where you're from?
Yeah, so originally I moved to New York in 2005 from San Francisco. I was born in Spokane, Washington, military family, moved all over. But San Francisco really was, when I was a child, I was there, moved away, came back when I was 21, and really was part of my big formative years in my life. And learning who I was. And then I think when I was strong enough to, and was standing on my own 2 feet, New York was calling me, it was kind of the next step.
It's amazing. You cut your teeth in one city to go to another.
Yeah, exactly. Cut your teeth to learn all the lessons of what you're not going to do when you come to New York,
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Noted. I love it. Well, you and I talk a lot about food every time we're together, whether we're having a meal together, we're just like talking about food. But will you share what your favorite food is?
Gosh. I mean, honestly, I'm half Thai. I have to say Thai food is my hands down favorite. Next to that would be Mexican food. I love to cook a combination of fusion of both sides. The great thing with New York is that we have very diverse neighborhoods. So there's a very specific little Thai neighborhood that has some of the best Thai food next to being in Thailand. And, as I learned of being in Thailand this last year, I found a restaurant here that I swear to God, I could be there, I could be here, it wouldn't matter. So as long as they're serving me outside and right now, and I can have some food, it's awesome. It's so good.
That's fantastic. I know we talk about Thai food quite a bit, and we're both. It's in your DNA. I just have a strong appreciation.
Yeah, well, I've also said, like if you come to New York, I'll cook Thai food for you. So,
Yes.
I love my curries, I love my fried rice, I have stuff ready to go. So,
Then you get it ready. I'll be there soon.
I will. Yes.
So this is a random one, but I think it's fun. So if you could be any animal, what would you be?
Animal. That's a very good question. Well, I always make fun of the fact that I'm the year of the rabbit. I definitely don't want to be rabbit because rabbits always end up being food. I kind of like the idea of being any kind of like an eagle or a bird that can fly. I love to be able to see over everything. I love to fly, period, because I love being on airplanes. But I like just that freedom of being able to get from one place to the next and being able to see everything that's in your view, unobstructed. I think that would be in the next life. That's what I'd want to be as a bird. I want to be able to fly.
That's incredible. I love it. I love the analogy, and it speaks to you. And in the ways that I know you too, I think it's perfection. What's your favorite show right now? What are you into watching?
Oh my goodness. So I'm really enjoying The Politician. We're almost done with that, going into second season. I just finished this amazing and very powerful show on Hulu called Normal People. It is an Irish film, and it's about these 2 kids that meet during high school. And she's a misfit. Nobody likes her because she's so smart and so intelligent. And then he's like the star jock. She ends up, they end up going to the same university at Trinity College in Dublin, and they start running, coming into the same circles. But then the roles reverse, where she becomes the most, everybody reveres her, and then he's kind of like a nobody. And this love affair that's between them is so intense. It made me cry. It's a beautiful show. Absolutely suggest watching that. It will just, your heart will just melt.
That's awesome. I have not watched it, so I'm gonna put it right on the list for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
Well,
yes.
Hulu has a lot of great shows right now. The Great is another awesome one.
I just started.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I love it so much. I was sharing with one of my other team members yesterday. We were both like, it's a little gory. It is.
Yeah,
But it's so good though.
yeah,
It's so well written, and it has a touch of like, it reminds me of like Marie Antoinette, Sophia Coppola. It has that sort of
yep,
campy with the cinematography is just so beautiful, and
yep.
really,
That's
I'm into
exactly how we describe it. It's got this dark humor,
it.
but it's so cleverly written. It's fun. It does have that Marie Antoinette, kind of Sophia Coppola. The acting is incredible. I mean, and if you haven't seen Mrs., that's another one. I think Hulu has really stepped it up. Also, Mrs. is Mrs. America or whatever it's called, or Mrs. Fantastic. That was also really intense.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that one out too. I haven't done that. We got to get through the great and then I can move on. But I have to I have to watch it early in the evening because of that gore factor in it.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's a
normal
little
people
intense.
make sure to watch when the kids are asleep because there is a lot of sexuality because they're young kids. I mean, they're high school going into college, so
Yeah.
just be warned. But
Noted.
it's beautifully done. It's really a spectacular story.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out for sure. Well, what do you think that is your best asset or your superpower?
My superpower is connectivity. Like Jeff or everybody will tell you, I'm a super connector. I love to connect people. When somebody says, I have a need for this, I always have an answer for where they can get that. They want to, my friend like wrote me the other day. He's like, I'm thinking about getting a car. And what do I do about car insurance? And I was like, no. I gave him like every resource that's out there without having to do anything. My friend tells me they want to move. I'm like, okay, here's 16 listings that are around my neighborhood. You know, I'm always about connection. And I think, from a personal and physical standpoint, connecting to my friends, connecting to my community, that's definitely my superpower for sure.
Hear to that. I couldn't agree more. Not that you need my approval on any of these, but I think that is your strong suit for sure. And it was very evident in the first about 30 seconds that you and I met that connectivity was going to be part of this magic moment that connected us for sure. And that was all brought out by you. So grateful for that. Well, the last thing I want to ask you is, I know we're not doing much traveling, but when you can, where's the next place that you want to go?
The first place I'm going as soon as we're allowed to travel again is going back to Thailand. Um, I've, I was there at the beginning of this year. I left Thailand on just January 1st, came back to the US. It was, seeing as I'm Thai, it was the first time I'd been there. I've been taking Thai classes, so I can speak and learn and meet my family that's there. I have a huge family in Thailand that I've never met. I can't even communicate with them through Facebook because they write each other in Thai. So it's just knowing that they're there. So my goal is by this time next year, hopefully we'll be able to travel there, and I'm going to go and meet them and be able to speak to them in our language.
It's incredible. That's so incredible. I'm rooting for it that it will happen in that timeline. Fingers crossed, all the good stuff out there, and it'll be an amazing first connection and equally kind of like a family reunion, but for the first time.
Exactly.
It's going to be great.
After being a war baby after Vietnam, this is, I'm that American cousin that, they've never met. So I get to come in and let them know that I learned. I went and did the work to learn how to communicate with them. So I'm very excited about that. It's going to be awesome.
They're going to be overjoyed. It'll be fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you took some time to sit and chat with me, and I think that, I don't know, you're just wonderful. That's all I have to say. You're just wonderful. And I'm so grateful for everything you bring to our business, to who I am as a salon owner, someone in this industry, and you are a treasured friend.
Thank you. I feel the same way about you. And you and Chad have just been, honestly, I feel very close to family with you guys and your kids. I mean, my God, like every chance I get to see them, that's amazing too. So as soon as we can, I would love to, I know Thailand is my big vacation, but I would love to figure out time to come out and visit, or vice versa.
Well, maybe when all this opens up, like I said, I'm going to come and hunt you down in New York and we'll make it happen.
Yes.
But you can come to the desert anytime. Anytime.
Happy to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.
You too, my dear. Thank you.